This terrifying ghost hunting discovery was never supposed to be seen by anyone. While exploring an abandoned factory, this group accidentally discovered a room filled with dead bodies. What they didn't realize was that one of them would soon join the ghosts that were said to haunt this place. Would you believe it? This is the ghost hunting discovery that was never supposed to be seen. For many people around the world, the paranormal is just a source of entertainment. Whether it's ghost tours, haunted houses, or even ghost hunting TV shows. There are plenty of places where you can go if you want to get a good scare. However, some dare to cross the line from entertainment to real ghost hunting. In fact, there are numerous groups around the world that spend their time tracking down ghosts and other paranormal entities. In recent years, there has been a huge rise in popularity for these groups. Many have become internet famous for their scary discoveries and investigations. The reason is clear. Who doesn't love a good ghost story? Yet, like any hobby or interest, there are bound to be downsides. One wrong move could mean a brush with something you never want to encounter, and one false step could lead to losing your life. Some ghost hunters have learned this lesson the hard way, and in some cases, all it takes is walking into a hidden room. A long time ago, there was a fire at an old factory in the city of Kingston upon Hull. 2 people lost their lives as a result. Ever since then, the building has been abandoned, supposedly because no one dares set foot inside. It's said to be one of the most haunted places in the country. That hasn't stopped urban explorers from trying to break in. But the local council has worked hard to block access. One day in 2017, a group of friends decided to explore the abandoned factory. Their names were Harry Street, Joe Trabucco, George Metcalf, and Louis Carter. They were all aged between 20 and 23. Little did they know, this trip would end in disaster. A few days before, Harry had told his mother he was going out with some friends. Didn't tell her exactly where he was going, but he promised he'd be home soon. She would later regret this decision. The 4 friends made their way to the abandoned factory. As the sun started to set, they snuck through a broken window and began exploring the building. There was debris everywhere, old machinery, rusted tools, and discarded items. You could feel the weight of history pressing down on you. At one point, Harry even found a metal box. Inside was an old bottle of medicine from the 1940s. As the friends continued exploring, they realized they weren't alone. They started to hear strange noises coming from different parts of the building. They also felt a sudden drop in temperature. This was nothing new to them. All 4 of them were interested in the paranormal and were prepared for such things. Still, it's not every day you experience it yourself. As they continued exploring, they reached a part of the building they hadn't been to before. The floor was weak and creaked under their weight. Suddenly, the floor gave way beneath them, and they fell into a hole. Luckily, no one was seriously injured. They quickly realized there was only one way out. The friends used their phones to help illuminate the way. What they saw was shocking. The flashlight beams revealed rows upon rows of metal lockers. Even worse, the smell of decay filled the air. The 4 friends knew instinctively that whatever was in those lockers had once been human. There was only one way to find out what had happened here. Harry bravely opened the first locker. Inside was a set of dirty clothes and a name tag. It read Albert. Who was Albert? What happened to him? Did he die here? The friends wanted to leave, but now they were curious. They continued opening the lockers, one after another. Each was empty except for one more name tag. It became clear that these men had worked in the factory. But why were they kept in these lockers? Was it some kind of sick game? Had they been kidnapped? And they came across a metal box. It was covered in dirt and cobwebs. But underneath it all, they could make out some writing. It read, "Do not open until 2027. Obviously, they had no choice but to ignore the message and open the box. Inside was a dusty camera. It was old and didn't look like it had ever been used. Next to it was a note written on an old piece of paper. It read, "This camera captures souls." If that was true, then whoever wrote the note must have known how dangerous the factory was. They had clearly tried to warn the ghost hunters away, but they were too late. Joe took the camera with him as he continued exploring. Suddenly, he heard a voice behind him. It said, "Put it back." He turned around, but there was no one there. Was it a ghost trying to protect its resting place? Or was someone messing with them? He put the camera down and slowly backed away. Then, he heard a loud crash. It came from the same room where they had found the box with the note. Had something moved the box? The friends decided it was time to leave. But when they went back to grab the camera, it was gone. It had vanished without a trace. Had a ghost taken it back? They fled the building as fast as they could. As soon as they were outside, they ran away as fast as they could. They didn't stop until they were far away from the factory. Once they were sure they were safe, they looked back. The abandoned factory stood dark against the twilight sky, looked peaceful, yet they knew better than to go back. What they had experienced that night would stay with them forever. It seemed like just a normal ghost hunting trip until they had fallen through the floor. The discovery of the lockers filled with bones was shocking, and the eerie warning on the metal box sent shivers down their spines. Then there was the ghostly voice. Was it just their imagination, or was someone really trying to communicate with them? As time went on, the friends tried to forget about what had happened, but the memory of that night refused to fade. They still talk about it today and wonder what really happened at the abandoned factory. Maybe they should have listened to the warning on the box and left the camera behind. After all, some things are better left undisturbed. But unfortunately, it seems that fate had other plans for them. A year after their terrifying discovery, tragedy struck. Joe, one of the 4 friends, was found dead in his bed. The cause of death was unknown, and there were no signs of foul play.
Oh.
The coroner ruled the death as unexplained, and the case was closed. To this day, no one knows what caused Joe's sudden demise. Some believe it was a curse from the factory. So after all, it's said that the building is cursed and anyone who enters it meets a terrible fate. Could Joe's death be linked to the abandoned factory? And if so, was it a warning to the other friends? They had better stay away. Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure. The ghost hunting discovery that was never supposed to be seen has claimed its first victim. The friends had meant well. They just wanted to explore an abandoned building and maybe catch a ghost or two. But they had no idea the danger that lurked within. After Joe's death, the other 3 friends vowed to never enter the factory again. They had seen enough death and destruction and didn't want any more of it. The abandoned factory stands in Kingston upon Hull to this day. It's a reminder of the dangers of ghost hunting and the importance of respecting the dead. No one knows what secrets lie within its walls. But one thing is certain, it's best to stay away. Who knows what other horrors may be lurking in the shadows? Maybe it's best to leave the ghost hunting to the professionals. So do you think the abandoned factory is haunted? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see my short videos, check out my other content. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And if you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel.